The attack, which occurred on Friday last week, resulted in the death of a UN crew member and several soldiers. A power-sharing agreement between self-allied forces in northeastern Upper Nile clashes its government has linked to forces condemned as an Sudan's peace agreement. The attack also resulted in agreement on the resolution of the families of the victims and called for undermines the progress made over the first 7 years since the signing of the peace agreement, the commissioner said. Arjimek warned that such an incident threatened to erode confidence among South Sudanese citizens as well as the regional and international community. Jimek has urged the to take immediate steps to de-escalate tensions and restore calm. We appeal to the presidency to take all necessary action to prevent further its command and also emphasize the need for the national peace. In response to conduct a verification mission to Nasser recommendations to prevent future violations of the permanent ceasefire. The South Sudan's people gone into hiding in Juba and other parts of the country after a deadly incident during a United Nations evacuation operation in Nasir on Friday last week. Major General Major Dak and a UN crew member also lost their life. Clashes between the SS fighting with government forces, leaving General Major and his troops stranded. The UN helicopter involved in the evacuation reportedly came under heavy fire during the operation, which had been coordinated by the SPLMIO to rescue stranded SSPDF troops. The conflict in Nasir further straining relations between the two groups. In response, several senior SPLMIO officials were arrested in Juba, the Equatorial State capital, to read with pleas for increased representation of women at all levels of government and in the private sector. Speaking at the occasion, Eastern Equatorial State Governor Luis Lojore said women deserve more than 35% affirmative action as stipulated in the 2018 revitalized peace agreement. The governor urged women to take the conducive environment for all to strive. It should be clear that the right of women is not about the fall of men. We need to work together. Females are equally masters of themselves, said achieving gender equality requires determination and courage. You are listening to Favour English News. A fire with local authorities citing negligence and strong winds as contributing factors. No casualties were reported. The blaze broke out on Saturday in a residential home unattended while handling high winds rapidly spread flames to nearby homes, engulfing structures built with local materials. Speaking of 2 water tankers to contain the fire, while property losses were described as huge, damages and draft. In a regional news of a rebel group which has seized much of the east of the country this year, Cornelio Nanga, a former head of DR Congo's he has addressed large rallies in the cities under the group's control. The bounty is also on offer for M3 men were prosecuted in absentia. A reward of 4 million as accomplices has been no match for the Rwandan-backed rebels who have captured large parts of the mineral-rich Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, including the region. Lastly, in the world, U.S. demand for a ceasefire process with Russia, according to a senior U.S. State Department official. The U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and national Ukrainian counterparts, U.S. President his demands for a quick ceasefire with 10 days ago. The two publicly clashed at the White House, with Trump claiming Zelensky was not ready to end, expected to play any formal role in the talks with the Americans. The Ukrainian team will be represented. He wrote on social media on Monday that Ukraine has been seeking peace since the very first second of the war, and he said, "We have." Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that peace or no peace. To end the news, here is a recap of the headlines. Peace monitors urge investigation into Nasir helicopter attack. US says Ukraine ready to move forward with the ceasefire. Bible verse is taken from John chapter 1 verse 16, and it says, "For listening. For more stories, visit